There's one more thing that we want to do before we join the walls together, and that is to add a couple of strips of score tape to the back side here. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and join this. This is a rectangle, so we can just fold in one side and fold in the other and get our walls all aligned here. That helps ensure things are square. And then we'll reach in there and give that a good burnish. I'm just going to give these edges all a good burnish. Okay. So now we can finish with our patterned paper. I'm going to fold these two tabs onto the sides, and in order to help keep it square, we're not ready to put this support piece in, but in order to help keep the building square at this point, I'm just going to tuck it in there, and that'll help everything stay square. Now for the sides, I've cut two pieces, and they are 3 1/8 inches long by 1 1/2 inches tall, and I scored them on 1/2 inch in on their end. Of course, I've got opposites going on here, and they are made that way so that the cut edge will go up next to the front, and this back edge can wrap around the back. Now I've added this extra strip of score tape here because we're going to have to remove just a little bit of this one on either end. So I'll put those two sides on. So now that I have those two sides on, we can go ahead and join our roof, and I'm going to release all of these tabs here. We will need to remove this piece of support that we've got in there temporarily, but I think I'll try to get all of these, get it kind of tacked down before I remove that, because it's important to keep it as square as possible at this stage. So when the roof goes on, this back edge aligns with the back edge of the wall here. And our 1/4 inch line should line up with the front edge here. So I'm reaching in and I'm attaching the back angles of the back here first, right here. Remember, this is all flush back here, and then on this side as well. And these corners should line up here, and then I can come around to the front and check for my 1/4 inch opening, and then reach in there and get that attached. And then I can reach in and burnish all the other joints. So now we have our little entrance roof unit made, and I'm checking here on the back to make sure I had to trim the little overhang, the joining strips here, so that they would fit underneath the roof. And now we're ready to dry fit this on and see how it's going to attach. So you can see I have the left house section here, and the roof the entrance roof is going to fit right on top of the roof for the house here. And that's the reason for this notch in the entrance roof, so it can just slide right up underneath that roof. Now you want to make sure when you put this on that the roof edge here does not go past the edge of the house. It should make a nice join there. I can see everything is going pretty well. And so what we'll do is take off our score tape backings, and then we'll also add a little wet glue in this part right here. We'll be able to reach in because we don't have that support piece in there, and so we can put some pressure on all these tabs in the back to join it. And then also, once you put it in this position, you can also reach in to support the roof underneath the back roof here. You can see where my arm is going in there. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm also want to make sure I'm keeping it level. So I've got my level handy, and yeah, I'm ready to go ahead and make that join. So to finish off the underside of the entrance roof, I've just taken our little support piece and I'm adding some joining strips. And then when this fits up inside of here, it's going to go in this direction, so that we can burnish in those joining strips, and we'll push it up far enough in there so that we won't see the joining strips. So I just have all of my little tabs folded up out of the way so they won't engage prematurely. And then I'm going to slide this up inside of here. And once I can see that the tabs won't be seen, I'll go ahead and engage those tabs. And now we have our entrance roof attached. So now we're ready to put the tower roof onto the tower. And you'll want to look at your roof and see, are there sides that look that you like, how they look better than other sides, and of course those would be the ones you would want to put towards the front. Now when we put the roof up here on top of the tower, what's going to happen is it's going to get attached to the stationary side here, and it will not get attached to this side that moves. So when we put this up here, we'll of course want to get it centered, all the edges overlapping, overhanging equally. And once you have it that way, just kind of put a little pressure on it as if it would be glued to the back side, and then see, does the front open if you're doing that? Or is there any rubbing going on? Now if you have any rubbing, remember we have another, we put half of this as a shim underneath the back side of the tower, and we reserved this half so that if we are getting rubbing, we could use this as a shim up here on the top. Now, if you need a little bit of a shim but not quite that much, you could always trace this piece onto lightweight chipboard and use lightweight chipboard instead. And if you do, just make sure you blacken all the edges, especially this front one, but all of them, so that you won't be able to, it won't be so noticeable. So once you've determined whether you need a shim or not, and you've got that shim in place, then we'll want to attach the roof. And we'll attach the roof by putting a combination of score tape and wet glue just on this, this part that doesn't move. So I have my score tape, and a couple places I can put some wet glue. So I'll remove my backing. Put some glue on. Then I'll make sure I have my roof centered when I put it on, and then I'll put it on and apply some pressure to this back side. And I'll just hold that pressure for a few minutes until I know everything is engaged. So now that we've got everything attached that we need to attach to the left house, we can go ahead and put the back roof down. I've just removed the score tape backing here, and when I put it down, I'll remember that this edge on my left right here needs to stay flush with the side of the house. We have a 1/4 inch line over on my right here that we can use if need be. So, and then I'll just can reach in through the lid here and secure the score tape to the roof.